don't endorse Chick-fil-A. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Yummy.com, and here today we have another Tipsy review. Today I cracked open a bottle of wine and a little bit of Jameson and sat through hours of Never Have I Ever. Now friends, if you don't know what this is, it is a series that dropped on Netflix about the week of April 28th. I'm not sure what exact day, but it did drop, in fact. Boom. Okay, and it is about an Indian girl and her life and struggles of being a California native, basically the love child of Mindy Kailing and Hassan Minaj and John McEnroe came together and created a show. Now, I'm not an Indian American. I'm not even Indian. I know some of you think I am. Strange. You should go see an eye doctor. But I'm gonna try and review this show from a purely cinematography film background. I'm gonna review it with what I know. So here we go. It's made by Mindy Kailing, I know that for sure. And the thing about Mindy Kailing that I love and sometimes can be her crux is that she has a way of writing quirky characters that are, I assume, exactly like her. Like, this child is literally the mini version, the child teenage version of Mindy from the Mindy Project. Like, if you haven't seen the Mindy Project, no need. See this first, then watch the Mindy Project and see how she grows up and becomes a gynecologist. Like, that's just genuinely it. I love her ability to write these creative stories, especially giving people of color a voice. But sometimes it does seem like she's just writing about herself. So, like, you have to, like, go in there with that balance and come in there with that warning before you watch the show to be able to fully enjoy it and just, like, vibe off the scene, you know? While we're talking, episode 1 starts. You meet a girl whose dad died. Sad story. He died in the weirdest way possible at her spring recital. And just like the Mindy Project, you don't really get the real the real depth, the real tea about her feelings about that until the end of the season, which is like annoying, but like also made me watch the whole thing, so I guess it did its job. I genuinely like the season. I genuinely like the show. I'm confused why John McEnroe was the one to narrate it. Like, that's really random. Like, I don't hate it, but like I'm also confused by it. I'm also like, why John McEnroe? Like, I get it, her dad likes tennis, but you could have found a tomato farm grower and did essentially the same thing. I don't know. Anyways, it's not for me to judge. I mean, I guess because I'm doing a Tipsy review, it is for me to judge, right? Right, in her voice? It's for me to judge, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's for you to judge. Okay, cool, I'll judge it. I would give this show a straight 6.9 out of 10. I don't feel right giving it a 7 because it does seem like some of the characters are a little bit just washed out and don't have a lot of depth to them. I'm sure if it had more than, I don't know, 10 episodes, then they could have gave some depth and maybe gone into the story for some of the other characters, like the hot guy whose name is escaping my mind quickly. Like, what was his name? Was it Josh? See, I don't even know. Yeah, but they could have given more depth to that character. I feel like he had a great backstory, but it was never really delved in. But it's just like, I feel like they didn't give him enough backstory. And I feel like even though I got a whole episode narrated by Sam Burke, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is one of my favorite shows on television. So just like, and I used to listen to The Lonely Island, so it's just like, double take. Like I love it. But and he was narrating that episode, and I think it was funny the way they brought him in and why they brought him in. But I think that like even that kid, I can't remember his name either. I cannot remember anyone's name in that show for the life of me. Hold on. Ben Gross. They could have given Ben Gross more backstory, because I feel like he was so cripplingly lonely in his story, and then all of a sudden in the last episode, sorry, spoiler alert, when she went to go live at his house, his family was just there all the time and like helping him and like letting his friends stay over. Like it was weird. It was like, I thought you were alone all of the time. What's going on? So like that was weird to me. I mean, I liked his episode probably more than I liked a lot of the other episodes, but I feel like it should have been like more consistent. I don't know. The show was, I like the show. I like the show, genuinely like the show, which is why I gave it a 6.9, almost a 7. It's almost a 7. But I feel like a lot of the characters were washed out. I don't want to say whitewashed out, but they were definitely washed out. I give them a credit. They got a whole point for diversity. You know, I love that Paxton Yoshida Hall, was it? Wait, let's Google it. Paxton Hall Yoshida, I loved that he was, you know, a character of diversity, but he was a mixed character. And his best friend didn't even know he was Asian. Love that. It was a nice little boop. Because, like, when I heard Yoshida, I was like, oh, he's Japanese. And then he was speaking Japanese. I was like, oh, he really is Japanese. Cool. But, like, they never explained that. They never, like, went into any depth about that part of his character traits. Like, and I'm not asking for a whole biography on how he's Japanese, but, like, her mom was literally, again, spoiler alert, literally calling this man dumb, and he speaks a whole nother language. Like, how many languages does your whitewashed Indian daughter speak? None. Maybe English. Well, English, definitely, because she's really smart. But, like, you don't ever, and again, that's another problem I have. They don't ever tap into how smart Devi actually is. Like, they don't ever talk about how smart she actually is and, like, how she compares. They're just like, hey, she's always fighting for number 1 in the class with this kid, Ben. She's smart, but you don't really ever see that she's smart outside of her not the Juber thing, that was Ben. Outside of her bunker app, you don't really see that she's really a smart and capable character outside of just being neurotic and having these problems. And the one thing the reason why I do give it a 6.9 is because it does like tap into this discussion about mental health with young people and how like people of color have a tendency not to go to therapy even though they really need it, and like, you know, the outcomes of that. But I feel like those scenes weren't utilized enough. Niecy Hall did a great job. Like, Niecy did a great job playing her therapist, and I really appreciate that. But like, her in her therapy sessions, we're talking about her trying to bone Paxton. Like, there was never a point where Niecy tried to, like, really make her... I mean, like, there was a point, but it, like, at the point that happened, she was also like, maybe I shouldn't be your therapist. And it kind of all hit at once. Her friends are the reason that the show gets a 6. Her friends were great.
Hey guys.
I think that the one girl was a little... I think Eleanor was, like, weird, but, like, good in a weird way. I think Fabiola was weird in a weird way. Like, I liked that she was a lesbian, half black lesbian, but, like, it just seemed like they threw in these friends. And then also the fact that she was in a wheelchair seemed very rushed. Like, I didn't like that at all. Like, I don't have a problem with, like, it to me, if they would have made a bigger deal about trying to upset her because they were scared it was going to create paralysis, I think that would have made a bigger impact on why she was in a wheelchair. I feel like they just threw the wheelchair in as an after effect. I don't know. It just didn't seem as cohesive to the rest of the storyline as the rest of the thing. Yeah, so I give it a 6.9 because I I don't want to spoil too many things for you. I definitely think you should go watch it. I definitely think, especially in quarantine, it's a great time. It's a great thing to watch. But I definitely think that some of the characters, weren't developed enough, and that it was way too similar to the Mindy Project. Not in the adult aspect, obviously, but in the character traits of her and all the people around her. Like, even Ben Gross was kind of the same as Danny. I don't know why I was gonna Google it. Danny from Mindy Project. Even he was like, so like when they kissed in the car, again, spoiler alert, when they kissed in the car, I wasn't surprised at all. As soon as I saw him, I was like, great, a Jewish white man who challenges her in every way. If this is anything like the Mindy Project, which is, it exactly is, they're gonna kiss at some point. And she's gonna have to choose between the random hot guy and that's probably what's gonna happen in season 2. I hope there's a season 2. I do want to see it grow and be better, but I think I loved it so much because I love the Mindy Project, but I think I love the Mindy Project because the Mindy Project was something fresh at the time that it was made, and that this wasn't as fresh because it seemed like a replica, younger version of Mindy, the Mindy Project. So I love Mindy Kaling as a writer, as an actress, as a producer. I think Mindy Kaling can do it all, but I definitely think that if they had sold this as a prequel to the Mindy Kaling Project, it would have been better than if they had sold it as what it was. Especially because like then the whole her being in a wheelchair would have been like, that's why Mindy is so dramatic, because like yada 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 or whatever.
How come in all the movies about Hollywood, no one mentions how many spiders live here?
This is my new favorite song.
I said I wish the Nazis would kill Ben.
So 6.9, I definitely recommend you watch it. You tell me what you would give the show down below. I'm Yummy.com. Thank you for watching. Don't worry, I will be back, so stay tuned.